just be a few minutes when I get plugged in here. Whoops, I forgot to put it back on this off.
When we're talking, should we be looking at each other? Or
we can. And we are live right now. We have a few minutes to, like I said, it'll be a few minutes while we'll pull it up on my phone. And yeah, just pretty casual. We're good. I have sound. That's always good to know. Okay. That looks different. Perfect. Share this to my page. Back to that in a minute. Okay, welcome back to another WCN Live. My name is Kristen Weaver, Director of Operations, and today I have
Dr. Joe Lopez. I'm the owner of Strength and Mobility Lab. I'm a doctor of physical therapy.
Nice. Thank you for being here today. Before we get started on our subject here, I'd like to thank our sponsor, Squeak's Convenience Store. Oops, let me turn my volume down. Sorry about that, guys. There, we don't want that interrupting. We are sponsored by Squeak's Convenience Store in Floresville, and they are located just right on the edge of downtown on F Street. And I invite you to check them out for their unique snacks and cold, refreshing drinks, and try your luck at the oldest, luckiest, and friendliest stop in town. Thank you so much, Squeaks, for your WCN Live sponsorship. We appreciate you. And they are tagged in the description of this video. Okay, and one more thing before we get started. As some of you know, as you join in live, if you would post a comment, say hello, you can ask a question. I'll be watching the comments. But by posting a comment while we're live, that gets your name into the next week's drawing. And so before we start here, if you could draw me a winner from last week's conversation.
Absolutely.
They are going to win this lovely goodie bag that I have from Connolly Memorial Medical Center and also the Floresville Christian Fellowship U Ministry. We talked about breast cancer awareness last week, and that is the prize that I have for Amy Quintanilla. So congratulations, Amy. I will be reaching out to you on Facebook Messenger to come pick up your prize. And today's conversation, as you comment during our live stream, remember to comment so they can get into the contest next week, will win a C Street gift shop goodie bag. So, all right, y'all comment away, and we'll be looking for your questions maybe that you'll be asking. Hopefully we get some people on. Love to answer questions. Good morning, Sherry. Good to see you again. She's a loyal WCN watcher. She's at the Wilson County Library here in Floresville, so always good to have you guys on with us, because today is going to be an interesting, we're going to learn a lot, because the subject of this is train hard and recover fast, and this is Dr. Joe Lopez, and he has the Strength and Mobility Lab in near Lavernia, and so yeah, let's get started with introductions. Tell us a little about yourself.
Sure. I'm from originally from San Antonio. My father was in the Air Force, and so if we weren't in San Antonio, we were usually stationed in Germany. So I did a little bit of time out there. And then right out of high school, I joined the Marine Corps. I did about 6 years there. I came out, worked for the post office for about 6 or 7 years, and then I decided to make my mother proud and go get my college education. So I ended up going to Texas State and getting a bachelor's degree in exercise science and athletic training. And then after I completed that, I applied to physical therapy school, and I was accepted into the Army Baylor doctoral physical therapy program. And that kind of led me back into active duty. So I ended up serving about 16 years in the Army, and then retiring after 22 years of service altogether in 2022, and then we retired out here near in the Lavernia area.
Very nice.
So yes.
Well, it's nice to have you nearby, because you really do offer a wonderful business. Want to know more about it, and we were having a great conversation before we went live. But yeah, tell us about your experience and what you do. What you serve different clients, and just kind of start with that.
Yeah, for sure. So I was a physical therapist for the Army on active duty, and it was at some point the Army started changing their fitness program. So they used to run 2 miles, do push-ups and sit-ups. That was their annual fitness test. And then they started changing it. So they started requiring all the soldiers to do weightlifting. So they would be doing deadlifts. They started throwing medicine balls and dragging sleds. And so this was really something that the majority of the Army individuals had not really experienced in terms of testing for that capacity. So the Army looked to a lot of us physical therapists to be the ones to go out and teach the soldiers how to change the way they were training and how to properly lift weights, and to avoid and mitigate injuries as much as possible. So I spent a lot of my time in units that really did that. So I would do physical therapy for plenty of folks, but then I would also do a lot of strength and conditioning teaching as well. So and that really piqued my interest a lot. I really kind of fell back into that sports performance type of environment. So when I retired, or getting ready to retire, I thought, man, I could probably do something like this and just have my own practice of doing both strength and conditioning and physical therapy for folks. So that's really kind of what led me to starting that here when I retired. And so far it's been working out very well for me.
That's great. So you work with young people, and that's kind of like you were telling me about how the different types of clients and what you appreciate in working with them.
Yeah, so I'll tell you this, my two favorite populations are the youth athletes and then the older adult population, because I think those two age brackets, the bodies are going through lots of changes that sometimes a young athlete doesn't really understand all the changes that his body's going through, or his or her body's going through, and then the older adult is now going through changes where they're not really understanding all of the potential issues or illnesses or comorbidities that they might be developing in an older age. So I really enjoy working with those two. But who do I take care of? I'll take care of any age just about that comes through. In terms of the athletes, sometimes I get asked, like, what's the youngest you'll take? And my response is usually, hey, if the child is ready and interested in learning, then I'm ready and interested in training them. But I would say right now, the youngest athlete that I've had has been like 8 years old. And they've all done. I've had 3 of those actually, and they're all doing very well.
That's great.
So.
Well, walk us through like the process. What is it? What is it like to work with you? What's involved? You assess someone and
so everybody starts off with an initial assessment. So regardless of what sometimes parents say, hey, I have a basketball player or a football player and they want to get stronger and faster. The first thing that I do with anybody that I see is I do an evaluation. And so what I do during that evaluation is I'm gonna evaluate the individual from their neck all the way down to their feet, and I look at all of the major joints of the body, and then I look at all the major muscle groups and even the smaller muscle groups, the stabilizers of the body. And after I do that assessment, I will be able to find any deficiencies that they have in their body. And oftentimes I find deficiencies that they weren't even aware that they had. But that's what I do. I find all those deficiencies, and then I put a training plan together. I'm going to devise a training plan that's very specific and unique to that individual. And it's going to have exactly what they need to have in their program, and then whatever goals they're looking for. So if it's strength and speed, we'll have some of those things in there as well. But first we have to establish that foundation and correct all those deficiencies. And all of that is the purpose of, hey, keep training hard, but let's mitigate injuries along the way. So if they just continue training and lifting in their regular school program or things like that, and they're playing their sports, and those underlying deficiencies that sometimes they're not even aware of, if they never get corrected, those are oftentimes can lead to these nagging chronic injuries, or even worse, a very traumatic surgical indicated injury,
Okay.
and we try to prevent that as much as we can.
All right. Do you ever have a client that comes to you like for working with an injury, or training afterwards, or getting back to?
Yes,
Yeah, that's
yes.
probably common.
Some of my clients have definitely reached out because they say, hey, my son or daughter has been plagued with knees,
Okay.
back, elbows, whatever it is, and we really want to get them seen.
Mm-hmm.
And so there's kind of two ways, because yes, I'm a doctor of physical therapy, but kind of interesting is I'm not in any insurance network, so I'm a cash-based provider, which means people basically pay out of their own pocket to see me. But the thing about that is they're going to get so much more out of seeing somebody like myself than what they typically get with an insurance-based coverage in your standard physical therapy clinic. And so some of my clients will come to me already with injuries, and then I will still treat excuse me, I'll still treat them and document everything for them as a patient.
I see.
And then if there are no injuries and they come to me, then I consider them a client.
Yeah.
So it's like a strength and conditioning client or a physical therapy patient.
I can see how you get so much more out of that, versus going through insurance or your typical ways. You just have much more flexibility.
Yes, and I get
a fuller picture.
I get phone calls all the time, like, do you take insurance? And one of the reasons that I just don't take insurance is because if I was a physical therapist only taking insurance, then I would probably have a very full schedule. People would be waiting to see me, just like the standard physical therapy clinics out there. They take a long time to get into. And I would be so full that I would never have time to do the strength and conditioning component that I really enjoy too as well. So being out of the insurance networks really helps me manage both areas.
That makes sense. Well, tell me a little about those unique clients, or maybe some of your favorites. Like you were telling me about the calf roper.
Yes, so it's very interesting, because this is how evolving it is, and I love to hear this from folks, because a mother just called me yesterday, and she says, hey, I heard about you, and here's what I have. I have a son, and he's a calf roper. And she says, have you ever worked with a calf roper before? And I said, no, I have not.
Wow.
But she says, well, I'm going to send you some videos, because I want you to know what a calf roper does.
Cool.
And she did. So she sent me videos of her son, and I could see, like, okay, wow, boom, he's coming out high speed, jumping off a horse after he ropes this calf, jumping off the horse, going after it and tackling it and taking it down. And I'm just amazed by that. I'm like, oh, wow, I most certainly want to work with somebody like that, because that is a lot of high intensity action going on there that requires, speed, strength, power, agility, all of these components, very much just like, an athlete with a lot of intensity going after that. And I like that. And the beautiful thing for me in my world is, like, hey, it doesn't matter really what they're doing. I understand the body very, very well. And so I'll be able to evaluate this young man, and I'll be able to find deficiencies in him, and we will be able to optimize all of that, all of his agility, all of his ability to go out there and do what he does, and really potentially take him on to the next level. A couple of my other clients that I have, one is he was the 4-time youth MMA champion nationally at 155 pounds. He's been with me for quite some time, and he is now of age. He's 18 now, so he's now starting his actual MMA amateur career. And so the same thing, but this young man, he trains about 3 days a week in Houston. He lives here in Vernia, so he'll come to me on the days that he's in town, and I manage his strength and conditioning. He goes to Houston for his actual MMA specific training. And then now that he's in an amateur weight, he's going to be fighting at a lower weight. So I linked him up with a sports dietitian professional that I had worked with in the Army. So this individual is out of state. He's in, I believe he's in Colorado. But I linked him up with him. So he works with him on his diet and helps him cut weight and all that good stuff. And so we just put this whole team together for these individuals who are
Neat.
really going after it.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to like one of the banners that I have in my facility, and kind of a I'll call it a philosophy, I guess, that's out there is I always say, like, hey, if you want to exercise, go wherever you want, do whatever you want to do. But if you want to train and you're very serious about your training, come to the Strength Mobility Lab, and then we'll take care of you there.
Nice, nice. What about some of the in-between clients, or maybe some more ordinary, or just other examples of people you work with?
I 100% take care of everybody. We talked about my favorite populations because there's a lot of stuff happening in their bodies that sometimes they're unaware of.
Yeah.
But then I have folks, middle-aged folks, they're late 20s, 30s, early 40s, stuff like that. They've been active. They were active before. They were athletes before, and now life has taken over, and they're either doing their normal jobs, and they're struggling to find time to get into to a gym, or they've been plagued with some injuries and stuff like that. Same thing, that they reach out to me, and it's good for a lot of those folks that come to see me in that capacity, because they've already been working out with weights before. So there's not a lot of, I have to like teach them a lot. It's just more like checking their form, making sure their form is on point, and then really helping them get after their goals. And again, it's the same concept. I'm going to find things that are kind of deficient in their body that they weren't even aware of. So we just help them get back into that routine a heck of a lot faster. And a lot of times those are my clients that will come see me, and they'll stay with me. I have like session packages that they might do a smaller session package and get about 8 to 12 sessions in with me. Get back into that
And get them going.
Get them remotivated. Like, oh yes, I can do all this. I understand now it's important to make time, and then they just get after it, and then they just come back and see me if they ever need to.
Yeah.
A lot of my clients still are. I started this thing probably late 2022. I'm sorry, it was late 2023 when I actually started it.
Okay.
But these a lot of these folks have just been with me since then. So they just keep sticking with me. And it was kind of surprising, because in the very beginning, I just thought like, oh, I want to show everybody I'm a really good physical therapist. Come here, whatever your injury is, I'll show you how to get better a lot faster, and we'll do all that. But then I started getting a lot more strength and conditioning clients, and they have just enjoyed the progression. I've enjoyed watching them progress, and they enjoy seeing all the changes that their body's going through. And so it's just been very, very satisfying for me.
That's good. And what about many in the older population, or what would you say?
Yes, same thing. A very wide range of those folks as well. They'll come, and one of my favorite ladies, I've already been seeing her and her husband, but she first came to me and she was like, look, I don't know anything about weightlifting. I kind of read what you were talking about. I saw what you did, and I thought, let me give it a shot and see what I can do. And gosh, she was seeing me for a good while. She saw some really positive changes. She had some medical comorbidities that were really kind of putting her kind of like into this kind of depressed state. And it was good because we were together at a time. It was so funny because I would even say sometimes, I was like, gosh, I would tell my wife, I was like, I'm seeing this lady, but she just seems so upset, and I don't even know, she doesn't really like this stuff, but she keeps coming back.
Right.
So
Wow.
I'm like, I don't even know, I don't even know if I'm helping her.
Yeah.
But we would have good conversations while she was in there, And the reality was, I think there was she was like either on the wrong meds and stuff like that. So she was working with her doc. She was still struggling and coming in here and toughing it out and lifting the weights and doing what she needed to do. And then all of a sudden it just tipped. Her medication changed. She started feeling a lot better. She was like a whole different person.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And then she was doing very good. All of a sudden she's like, I need to send my husband over here. So now I see both of them as well.
That's great.
And there's just really, really good. And so there's a lot of those folks that come see me like that. They never were really weightlifters in the beginning. So some of it is I'm teaching them how to lift weights. And then very quickly we start to progress. They still have to go through this deficiency correction, right? So I'm saying, hey, and a lot of times with that, it's a lot of like core stability work. So we have to stabilize the body really good before we start loading it up with some weights. Exactly.
What would you say to folks out there about strength training?
Yes, I would definitely say if we always wish, right? Like, oh, I wish there was just some fountain of youth that was out there, and we could just go take a little cup and take a little swig of that fountain of youth and be good again. There actually is a fountain of youth. It's just not liquid. You don't just put a cup in there. The fountain of youth for everybody, especially in your older age, is strength training, resistance training, and that's a lot of times what separates myself from your standard physical therapy clinic. As they're older, they have some aches and pains, they have some arthritis, they go see their doc, they go to a physical therapy clinic. A lot of clinics out there will do good, and they'll kind of get you to what we always call like the prior level of function. Okay, before you were injured, you came to us, and we want to get you back there. That's not how strength and mobility works. I want to get you better than you were even before you were injured, because I'm going to show you how to correct all these things, and I'm going to progress you even more. And then by virtue of doing that, you are just going to be able to do things that you once thought you were like, hey, I stopped doing this because I'm too old now. And your quality of life and your functional mobility and all of that is just going to be, you're just going to be able to do that stuff again. And that's really, there's a lot of research out there too. I always, when I would do some presentations, I talk about this one study that they did where they took a group, everyone was retirement age, so 65 and older, to be part of this study. And they looked at, they put people in groups, a moderate, kind of low intensity to moderate intensity training program. And they supervised these folks for a year. Wow. And so low to moderate intensity, probably something, if you're over 65 and you went to your average personal trainer and said, hey, can you help me out with this stuff? Because you're older and that personal trainer may not have the in-depth knowledge of all of these other comorbidities that the individual may have, they're going to put them on a low intensity to moderate intensity training program. Here, take these lighter dumbbells and do this. But that was a group. That was supervised for a year. And then the other group that was also, of course, 65 and older, they had supervised care for a year, and they did heavy weight training at probably about between 75 to 85% of their one repetition max. So this is heavy weight training, but it's all supervised. And then what they did is after that year, they followed them for the next 3 years out. So 4 years later, after they started this program, the individuals that did the low to moderate strength training for a year supervised, their bone density decreased, their muscle mass went back down, and their baseline strength was lower than it was when they first started that study. And the groups that lifted heavy weights, they maintained their muscle mass, their initial baseline strength, they maintained their bone density. And so there's really, all of that is that there's research out there that's, hey, strength training you will have longevity in life. And so it's very important, and it's in the beginning, it doesn't mean, hey, day one, we're just gonna throw you a bunch of
Right.
whole weights, but we're gonna progress you towards that.
Mm-hmm.
And if you've never done that before, then it's most certainly important that you have the right type of individual that can progress you into that capacity.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what I do.
Cool. And you have the facility for people to come in there and work with you.
Yeah, so when I retired, my plan was, hey, I'm going to come out in the country and I'm going to build this facility, and we'll let everybody come over here, and I'll have split, strength and conditioning stuff, and I'll have physical therapy equipment over here. But then when I bought my house, I had this nice detached garage that was still looked very professional. It was still the same rock, it's not just your average metal building garage. It looks very, very nice, and it was large. I looked and said, wow, this is most certainly large enough for me to just put everything in here and make it work. So that's what I did. I converted our garage into a very nice, professional-looking strength and conditioning and physical therapy facility.
Cool.
And so the great thing about that is everybody comes to the house.
Yeah.
I don't have to worry about
Right.
traffic every day for work. And so it's really working out very well.
Yeah. And pretty centrally located in our county.
Yes, I think so. So my address is Vernia, but I'm on 775 between Floresville and Vernia in those subdivisions. Vintage Oaks Ranch is the subdivision that my facility is in.
Okay.
And I think it is fairly well located, for
it's
all of Wilson County.
sounds pretty good. Wow. Well, that's so informative. Do you want to talk any more about, so we got your location, how does one reach out to you to start the process?
Yeah, for sure. So I have a Facebook page, Strength and Mobility Lab. I have a website, strengthandmobilitylab.com. And that's pretty much, the website will give you all the information pretty much that most people need. That's everyone will book online, and so you can go online, book your schedule. I have a free consultation option on there, so you can book a free consultation, come to the house, see the facility, talk about your goals, and then we can go from there. But those are pretty much the two main places. My phone number is there. It's it's both on the website and on the Facebook page. That's where most folks find me at. And then hopefully the other way is through word of mouth.
Yeah. Right. Well, very good. So y'all, I will be updating our description here shortly to include your Facebook link and your website and the phone number, if you want to tell them the phone number.
Yeah, sure. To get in contact with me is 210-890-8012. And that will get you certainly to Strength and Mobility Lab.
Yep.
I am a one-man show, so I am the doctor of physical therapy, I'm the strength coach, and I'm the front desk person as well. So if I don't answer, by all means, please leave a voice message. If you're on my website, you can click the chat, you can ask questions there. Either way, I just ask that you kind of leave me a little message that lets me know that you are local. Most certainly, just about all, as many of you know out there, the advertisers and folks like that have my number, so I get a lot of spam calls that I don't. So sometimes I won't even answer it, especially if I'm with a client. I used to think, okay, if it's a 210 number or somewhat local out here, area code, I'd answer it, but nope, those individuals have my number as well. So, but if you leave me a little message or something like that and let me know, like, hey, I do live out here, I'm a real person,
I'm legit.
I will most certainly, I respond very quickly to everybody's calls.
Well, that's great. That's great. Well, it's really nice to learn about what you're doing, and I'm sure that a lot of folks here, and they can share this video, be sure as you're seeing this, that to know what the resource that you are in our county.
Sure.
And so that's really exciting to learn all of what you're doing. So that's awesome. Thank you for being here today. I really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah. I hope y'all got something out of this. And again, that you need to share this video far and wide. I know it's going to gain some traction here very soon, but we were just talking with Dr. Lopez from the Strength and Mobility Lab Yeah, great conversation. So just to conclude, I'd like to thank our sponsor, WCN Live, and that is Squeak's Convenience Store. They're located on F Street, just on the edge of downtown, and you need to check them out for their unique snacks, their cold, refreshing drinks, and especially try your luck on the lotto there, because they are known for being the oldest, luckiest, and friendliest store in town. So thank you, Squeaks. Appreciate all you watching today, and be sure to come back next Wednesday. We'll be here again at 10 a.m. for a conversation. We'll see you then. Bye.